Hi there, I'm Valerie Milano, the senior editor of the Hollywood Times, and I am so happy to have our guests here today. I'm talking to you from Palm Springs, California, and I'm going to have them introduce themselves and tell us where they're at right now. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Sure, I guess. Yeah. You want to go first?
I'll go first. My name is Louis Wu, and I'm the owner of Ohana Music. And our focus for the past 17, 18 years has been in ukuleles or ukulele, the four-string instrument. This is my passion. I love music. I'm not really a musician. I was born in Hong Kong. I grew up in Hong Kong. Then after high school, I came to United States to further my study, and my background was engineering. I did that for 20 years. I enjoy what I did, but after 20 years, and my wife and I had a conversation at the time. Chris, by the way, is my son, and he has a little sister, 5 years younger than Chris. And at the time, they were really young, right? So, and then my wife was an accountant, I was an engineer, and we realized that we didn't have time really for the children, for the kids. And oftentimes we worked till 6 or 7, at night, and then we had to leave them at daycare and so forth. And I said to my wife, "What if I quit my job and try something different?" And she said, "Yeah, why not? If that's going to give us more time for the family, for the kids, go ahead." So it was a huge challenge or change. But so I went from engineering or musical or medical instrumentation at the time to music instrumentation. So from MI to MI. It's a huge change, but it's a challenge. But I really enjoy what I do. It's a small business of 5 or 6 employees. Chris, my son, is helping me full time since 4 or 5 years ago. So it is a family business. And we'll get into a little bit more of the company, but I'll go ahead and let Chris introduce himself.
Sure. So I'm Chris, and so both me and Lewis are tuning in from Long Beach, California, where uh, Ohana is based. We've always been an LA-based company, and so yeah, like Lewis said, I've been here full time, and it's been a blast. And so we do a lot of everything. We also do a little bit of everything. Excited to do a quick walk through using my camera here, quick walk through our facilities, and then I'll be joining Lewis on his camera. So should we hop over to that?
Perfect. Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah, let me just turn this around. So right now, I started off in our office. This is just our front office here. And as we go into the back, it's a little office space with mostly warehouse space. And so this is where everything happens. You'll see these sort of makeshift aisles of boxes of instruments, and we have them by size. So going from smallest to largest. Right now, walking by our setup bench where each and every instrument gets inspected and set up before it goes out. Then over here to packaging and then shipping. And on the right side, I'm passing by again these makeshift aisles of instruments. So everything's, got its place and order. And as I move towards the back here, just more like bags and accessories versus instruments that we had sort of back there. And now I'm going to join Lewis here in the workshop. And so I will actually mute for now, and I might need to turn off my video to join his to avoid any feedback. So yeah, in a
Okay.
sense, that's in a nutshell, that's the whole place. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank I couldn't be there to actually be a part of the tour. I really appreciate that. So I'm going to go into a little bit of question and answers. Has Ohana Instruments made its way into the Hollywood productions or television shows or studio recordings yet?
Not quite, not really. Would love to get into that.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, there's only
Maybe
been maybe one or two like flash appearances, from like not necessarily Hollywood shows, but there was like a flash appearance once upon a time on the show Whose Lines It Anyway, or there was one appearance before on like one of the America's Got Talent type of shows, but I think maybe Britain's Got Talent or something. And so yeah, nothing really yet Hollywood wise. Yeah,
okay. Well, maybe after this interview, we'll be spreading the word. So maybe that
I know.
All right.
we
Yeah.
hope so, right? Um, the ukulele has a deep cultural history, right? Especially in Hawaiian and Polynesian music. How does Ohana honor that legacy while appealing to a broader modern audience?
I see. Yes. So in our product lines, besides different sizes, of course, original size was soprano, 21-inch length and scale is about 15, 14-inch. Uh, Part of our product lines is actually the vintage lines. So we actually had models that are built like the original ukulele that was first introduced to Hawaii in 1879, around that time. And of course, the instrument, the four-string instrument, was actually originated in from Portugal. So we also had a early model after the Portuguese style. And then also Martin brought in the ukulele about 100 years ago. And then some of your audience would probably know the Martin style ukulele, Martin 2M, 3M for mahogany, or 2K, 3K for K for koa. So we have those models as well, and even the Vita models, and that's also a vintage style. So we honor the ukulele history and tradition in that sense. So Ohana ukulele, to many people, they look at us as more of a traditional instrument maker, but at the same time, we also bring in the contemporary style of ukulele instruments through different designs, different types of woods, other than, say, koa or mahogany.
Do you see a different level of engagement or feedback from musicians in Asia, Europe, or Latin America versus the United States?
Yeah, I'd say so. Actually, in fact, a few of our largest international markets, just in no particular order, Brazil, the UK, um, Asia, and particularly, say, China. Brazil, you have an audience, a fan base, if you will, where they are just very fervent, very excited about anything ukulele related. A lot of times, whether or not they are, already ukulele players or maybe they're just beginning, but even from, you know, social media and the comments and everything, they're very excited. They're on board. They're following all the trends. So they're engaged in that way from the onset. China, you have just a big appreciation for not only Hawaiian but like hula culture as well. So it extends that far. And a lot of uh, students there, even from a young age, who learn they're very focused. They're very skills based, and they grow very quickly in that. sense. And so we try to have instruments that, cater to that very quickly growing skill level. And then the UK is just like the US is a very big market. Everybody seems to want to play the ukulele. And so um, yeah, it's very much international, this kind of instrument. Yeah.
Oh, uh, well, Valerie, we lost sound.
Okay, yeah. Um, how has your marketing evolved with the rise of platforms like TikTok, Instagram Reels, online music
Sure.
tutorials?
Sure. Yeah. We've always been stronger in, some of the longer standing social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. Um, and with our new marketing team, we've brought on a couple of hands to, help with that really. And while we're busy, running operations. And so TikTok and also Instagram growth we've really seen that in the past, even just 6 months. Um, and that's been especially helpful too with the growth of our custom side of things, Ohana custom ukuleles. So
Have you,
yeah.
yeah, have you seen a change in customer demographics over the past few years? For example, younger players or more women taking up the ukulele?
Hmm. You want to answer that?
Yes, definitely. At least in the United States, here, a lot of schools in the past were teaching like
Band.
recorders and so forth, and had since switched to the ukulele. And so we've seen this trend of younger
Players.
players getting into ukulele, and teachers are enthusiastic about using ukulele to teach them. In that's the demographic change. But really, from in the earlier days, it was more of the adults in this country that were playing ukuleles. But now we are seeing the change in other countries. In Brazil, for example, that Chris mentioned, it is more well-rounded. You have adults, you have retired people, you also have children. So that's fantastic. In Asia, uh, for example, in China, now that's interesting, kind of turning around because a lot of the instruments were made in China, and including ukulele. But among the Asian countries, I would say China is, other than the population, of course, but this trend of ukulele popularity continues, and not letting down at all. Now, I was of course, many years ago, since 18 years ago, since I started the company, till maybe before COVID, I would attend the trade shows, Music China, kind of like NAMM shows in the States. And I would say 10 years ago, you show ukuleles in Music China, people did not know what it is. Now everyone knew what ukulele is. And now on the on the in the other continent, just earlier this morning, I was talking to our uh, distributor in Poland, and I would say 5 years, not until 5 years ago, that ukulele was kind of introduced into Poland, and now it is spreading too. So we're seeing this kind of ripple effect, or the wave. I suppose this is kind of like the third wave of ukulele, as starting from US. Of course, Hawaii has always been the place, and then to Europe, and then to Asia, and now back into Eastern Europe, and then also Southern America or Central America as well.
Interesting. Thank you for that. I was at NAM and was at your booth, and I was very impressed that you had performers there playing the ukulele, especially Jennifer Lydham, who is a personal friend of mine. And I also have a personal friend who owns an Ohana ukulele, Jennifer Corday.
Okay.
So it's a beautiful thing. And she has toured your facility as well.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
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 We've known Jennifer Latham for at least 10, 12 years.
Ah,
She's a fantastic friend. Yeah.
good, good. Mutual friend. Beautiful. Well, so to wrap it up, how can our viewers and our readers find out more about your instruments on your social media or your website? How can they find out more?
Sure. It's at Ohana Ukuleles on every social media platform, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube mainly, now TikTok, not so much Twitter or X anymore. Our website, yeah, ohanamusic.com. And then we have a second website for our custom instruments, so ohanacustomshop.com. And you can get those links from any of the social platforms as well.
So,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we actually have a couple of instruments here if you wanted to see just a little show and tell.
Yeah.
So
Valerie, I know you were at our booth at NAM, so you've seen a lot of it, but for your audience, these are made here in our custom shop. Now, 98% of our products are made overseas and then brought into our warehouse. And you saw our station that we have a technician that set up every instrument before we ship them out to our dealers, because quality to us is so important. Regardless of what the price point is, even if it's $100 instrument or $80 instrument for beginners, we still set them up. Now these are high grade, really flame koa from Hawaii, and you will see some inlays and so forth. So this is one of the ones that we made in the shop, and another one with quite a bit of inlays on the fingerboard. And this is bear claw sprues, and the back and sides are, I have to remember all the types of woods that I source. So this is, I think, is Guatemalan rosewood. I forgot. Yeah, yeah. Anyhow, Tasmanian blackwood. Tasmanian blackwood. Yeah, there we go. So, and then we recently also got into the electric guitar as well.
electric ukulele.
Electric ukulele. Thinking about a guitar as well, or a bass later on. So these are all done here in the shop. You've probably seen the prototype at NAM a few months ago. And since then, we have produced these maybe 6, 7 units, and players are just excited about this side of what we do. Other than the more traditional acoustic electric nylon strings. So we're getting into the electric side of things too.
Yeah, well, we know Ohana Instruments has built a loyal following for its handcrafted ukuleles and stringed instruments. And I really appreciate you gentlemen talking to me and giving us the tour and your story, Louis. That was really very interesting about your family. And we're the Hollywood Times today, and the Hollywood Times official is our YouTube channel. Seeing you again. And I just thank you so much for all the time you've given us today and the talents that you bring to the musical world.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Valerie.
Thank you so much, Valerie.
A pleasure.
Yeah, again. All right. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye-bye.